Mr. Bernard, you ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone, and happy African American Month. If you can rise, we're going to have our pledge and by Commissioner Fowler.
Please stand if you're able. Place your right hand over your heart.
Madam Secretary, could we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Fowler,
Here.
Commissioner Rice,
Here.
Commissioner Trejo,
Here.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
Here.
Chairman Springs.
Here. Any communications from staff?
Yes, Chairman. First of before we begin tonight's meeting, we recently had some work done on the fourth floor, and through the process of moving some things around and cleaning up, I found this document, and we framed it, and we wanted to share it with you. The goals of the Inglewood Planning Commission: to carry out the policies which guide the growth and development of the city through the general plan and zoning ordinances, and to provide a balance between the municipal code, the general plan, community values, and the interest of property owners, and to act as a forum for the citizens of Inglewood regarding development issues, and to assist and serve the citizens of Inglewood by always striving to be fair to all, and to develop and refine ideas that will assist in improving the quality of life, and to protect the community's values in the interest of fellow citizens without fear of intimidation or coercion. And I thought that this was fitting. We framed this, and we're going to give each of you a copy so that as you receive your planning commission packets every month, you think about the value that you bring to the city and what your role is. And I also thought that it was an opportune time to provide you with this, as we're going to be presenting this evening our general plan phase 1 report. And so this is just another opportunity to remind you of your value and your importance to this city. So thank you.
Okay.
What year is that? What year?
What was that?
What year?
Was this developed? Well, I don't know when it was written, but I found it, and I thought that it was perfect for you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a big one for the chairman. He didn't bring it up to me.
He gets a bigger one.
Oh, he's special. Huh?
He got his name, he got his name on his shirt.
Find some.
I'll make sure I go grab it. That's our oath.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll go put that on my wall.
I feel slated.
You want to go grab, have somebody grab it?
Can we get a picture with everyone there, Mr. Bernard?
We are. We're going to do a photo op at the end of tonight's meeting. Also with us. You guys look amazing in your next level polos, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Great. This is awesome. So moving on with communications from staff. The item 6A, the applicant has requested a continuance to the March 5th meeting to allow more time for them to work with staff as it relates to their drive-through improvement of their design. And item 6B as well, staff is requesting that item be continued to the March 5th meeting to work out some final details related to their business operation. And that concludes staff's presentation. Staff's comments.
Okay, public comments. Any person wishing to address the planning commission of any items on the agenda other than the public hearing may do so at this time. Hearing, seeing none, we're going to close that segment. I'd like to get a motion on the minutes for December 4th, 2024.
I motion that we approve the minutes for December 4th, 2024, and January 14th, 2025.
We're going to do each one separately. So we're going to do December 4th, 2024.
I'll do a second on December minutes.
Okay, we have a second on the minutes for December 4th, 2024. Call for any questions? Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rice,
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams,
Aye.
Chairman Springs,
Aye. I need the motion on the approval of minutes for January 14th, 2025.
Motion approval of minutes for January 14, 2025.
Second.
Okay. There is a second. Call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rice,
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo,
Abstain, I was not in attendance.
Commissioner Shaw Williams,
Aye.
Chairman Springs,
Aye. Okay, Madam Secretary, first.
Item 6A, a public hearing to consider an application by Gary Lee for special use permit number 24-00026 to allow the expansion of a drive-through and construct a 30-square-foot addition to an existing 3,615-square-foot freestanding fast food restaurant that is part of a shopping center on an approximately 58,797-square-foot HC property at 401 East Manchester Boulevard.
That item has been pulled. I need a motion to, is there a motion for that?
Move that that item be moved.
Call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote on postponing that meeting until March 5th, 2025. Could I get a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. Call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice? Commissioner Trejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye. Before you move on, Madam Secretary, is there a motion on the floor to cancel item 6B? Continue.
Continue.
Sorry, continue.
I move that we continue item 6B to the March 5th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Before we do a second, was there a date on the postponement of that one?
Yes, March 5th.
Okay, thank you. It's been properly moved in second. We'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice?
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye.
Item 7A, a non-public hearing to consider an application by Real Estate Development Services Group for a final tract map number 84423 to allow the subdivision of air rights for the development of 5 units, 2.5-story townhome-style condominiums on an approximately 8,006-square-foot R3 zone property at 419 South Eucalyptus Avenue.
Chairman Fowler's present, and there is no notice required for track map, and planner Christine Rivera is prepared to do a staff presentation.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the Commission. The subject site for this final tract map is located at 419 South Eucalyptus Avenue and is zoned R3. The property is located on the west side of Eucalyptus Avenue between Kelso Street and Lime Street, surrounded by residential uses. On May 6, 2022, a site plan review was approved for a new 5-unit, 2.5-story residential apartment building at the subject site. On April 5th, 2024, a vesting tentative tract map was filed for a townhome-style condominium on the site, and on June 6th, Public Works approved the vesting tentative tract map. On August 7th, 2024, the vesting tentative tract map came before this Planning Commission, and the resolution was adopted, recommending approval of the vesting tentative tract map to the City Council. On September 17th, 2024, the City Council approved the vesting tentative tract map, subject to 9 conditions. On December 10th, 2024, the final tract map was approved by Public Works and the Subdivision Committee. As conditioned, the proposed project will serve as an enhancement to its neighborhood setting. It is developed in accordance of existing zoning and development standards. If the Planning Commission recommends approval, it will go to City Council for approval. And it is exempt from further environmental review. No public comments were received. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available tonight to answer any questions the Commission might have.
Thank you, Christine. We're going to open it up for questions for you. We're going to start off with Commissioner Fowler.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Planner Rivera, you did mention on September 17th, there were 9 conditions. Have those conditions been met?
Those conditions have been met, and therefore it is going through the final tract map, and there are conditions in the resolution, the current resolution as well.
Okay, thank you so much. My further questions are for the applicant, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Rice.
Can you give me a little better description of what the air rights of the subdivisions are?
The air rights would be, these are townhomes. So air rights are, it has to have air rights in order for them to be sold separately from each other.
And what's the height of the air rights? Is there a height cutoff? The air rights above the individual units? Is that what it is?
That question, I'm not sure.
What is it?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
Right. And so as they purchase the property, though, they will own the area within the units that the footprint of the building that they purchase.
Because it described it as air rights, so I was concerned as to whether or not that was for potential future additions onto the building so they can go up on it, or what's the reason we need to approve air rights?
We're approving a tract map for the air rights, but they wouldn't be able to go any high. They're still conditioned for, there's height requirements within the city, so.
All right, no further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Trail.
No questions, actually. Thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
No questions, thank you.
I have no questions. If the applicant is here, you can tell us about your project.
I think the applicant is running late.
Running late.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Would also mention that this applicant has come before this body to answer questions related to this tract map during the tentative phase.
Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is I need a motion to postpone any questioning for the applicant until the applicant arrives.
So moved. Oh, I need to make.
You need to make the motion.
I move that we postpone until the applicant arrives for any questions.
What's the ETA on the applicant?
I can give her a call.
Somebody second.
Okay, let me forget.
To find out whether
Let me say this. Let's do a time frame here. If the applicant is not here by 7:30, then if we've completed everything, then this has to be postponed until the following meeting. Is that appropriate? I can't hear you, Mr.
You continue the matter.
Yes,
not
continue.
postpone. Continue it to a date certain.
Thank you. Continue it. So we're going to give our time frame. It's going to be 7:30. Got to get a motion, please. You made that motion, Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes, I make the motion that
Talking to your mic.
postpone the meeting until 7:30, giving the applicant time to answer questions.
No, we don't want to postpone our meeting.
Oh, postpone the item.
Yes,
How about that?
yes, that'll work.
Second.
Okay. Ooh, that was hard. It's been properly moved and seconded that we're going to postpone this particular item until 7:30 or until 7:30. There was a second. Call for any questions? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rice,
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
Aye.
Chairman Springs.
Aye. Okay. We have item 8, correct? Is that item you guys are going to discuss,
Yes.
Mr. Gerard?
Yes, Chairman. Item 8 is a staff presentation.
Yes.
It probably would be, if it's within it's your call, but it probably would be prudent to take a break until the 8:30 timeframe, so that 7:30, so that
7:30.
staff can be available to do the presentation.
Okay, so we'll take a short 8-minute break, and at that time, we'll come back and staff will give their report. If the applicant is not here by 7:30, then we'll postpone it until, continue it. So I'll get that together, okay? Take a 8-minute break. Thank you. Okay, we're going to call this meeting back to order. Okay, this meeting is called back to order, please. Thank you. Okay, we're going to continue. Madam Secretary. Item 8.
Have to make the motion.
Chairman, before we move to item 8, we need to make a decision on item 7A.
Okay. I think we said we were going to postpone it, continue it. So is there a motion on the floor to continue item 7A?
I move that we continue item 7A, final track map number 84423, to the March 5th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. We'll call for any questions. Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler?
Aye.
Commissioner Rice?
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Aye.
Chairman Springs?
Aye.
We're muddling through some technical difficulties. It'll be 2 minutes. Chairman, it is at your pleasure if you would like to move to the public comments right now while we're processing through these technical difficulties, and then this way, that's one less thing we have to do later.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're going to open it up for public comments. Any person wishing to address the Planning Commission on any matters within their jurisdiction and not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. Hearing, seeing none, we're going to close this segment. You ready? Okay.
Item 8, Planning Commission Report, General Plan Background Analysis and Vision Statement.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I joined the great city of Inglewood as an employee here in July of 2008. This year will be 17 years of working with this city, which surpasses the 15 years that I had working for myself. And in doing so, when I got here, one of the things that was glaring for me as I began to work on the Hollywood Park Specific Plan project, that's the reason I came here, the specific plan, prior to SoFi and all the, when it was just a residential and a retail project with illustrious parks and all the great things that were going to be initially planned at Hollywood Park. I realized that the one thing that was really missing was the general plan. And many of the cities I worked for, including the cities of San Dimas, the city of Tustin, the city of Whittier, the city of Los Angeles, Santa Clarita. One of the things that helped them matriculate to be the cities that many looked at and aspired to be was they had a clear plan of where they were going to go. One of the things I think that we were blessed in is we have phenomenal leadership here in the city of Inglewood. We were able to kind of jump on the tails of the vision of our mayor, Mayor James T. Butts, and the city council, who came together to push a vibrant kind of projection for where we were going as a city. And during this time period, I constantly, through various leadership within the department, some of you remember Sheldon Curry, some Wanda Williams, Linda Tatum, we fought and we fought and we fought to get the necessary funding to be able to undertake our general plan and complete it. I'm proud to be the director of Development Services Department, and having such confidence displayed by the city council that they would allocate the funds necessary to undertake this. And as a result of that, we have worked alongside a great team with PlaceWorks and Jonathan, who you'll see a little bit. His hand is up. Stand up, Jonathan. All right, there he is. And also partnering with, and I'm not trying to take Bernard's thunder, but I want to just express how appreciative I am. Thomas Bunn and his team, Katie, and that have really just a phenomenal collaborative relationship to develop us to where I think this, not only locally, but maybe even globally, they'll be at awe at what we've done. And in the history, annals of history, they'll look back and say, look at what Inglewood was able to accomplish and do. And not only just the things that we know for now, but what the future holds. And so I want to thank Bernard and the Planning Division for their extraordinary leadership and vision in helping me, making it easy for me to go up there and fight for funding to do this project, and the mayor for his embracing us moving to the next level. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our phenomenal planning manager, Mr. Bernard McCrumbie.
Good evening, Chairman Springs and members of the commission. It is with great excitement and joy that we present to you this evening the culmination of phase one of our comprehensive general plan update, which is the existing conditions report, our community profile, and our vision statement and guiding principles. Staff, along with our consultant, Chris pointed him out, Mr. Jonathan Nedler from PlaceWorks, has prepared an overview presentation that will give a high-level overview of the report and the findings that have come from it. And this will become what our North Star for guiding us into phase two, which would be the official comprehensive general plan update, where we will be updating all of the elements of our general plan and adding an economic development element to it. As we all know, that our general plan has not been comprehensively updated since 1987. It's a long time ago. And, you know, before we begin this presentation, I too want to just say a few thank yous. First, to the mayor and council for seeing the need and supplying the resources, ching ching, for us to be able to move forward with this amazing endeavor. To our consultants, Jonathan and his team at PlaceWorks, for the hard work that they've put in and the collaboration that they've provided with us. They saw our vision, right, as to how we can take Inglewood to the next level, and we were able to take the steps to move that thing forward. So we're really excited about that and thankful. Chris mentioned Thomas Bunn and his team. They too have provided some creative flair to the educational component of what we're doing with our general plan update, and creating a video that we'll be showing shortly to describe what a general plan is. I want to thank my planning staff who have worked tirelessly to be present on Saturdays and Sundays, after hours, helping set up and take down from our pop-up events, all of which they're not mandated to do, but they did it because they love this city and they believe in what we're doing here in Inglewood. And so thank you, team. And also I want to just thank our director, Mr. Chris Jackson, for his vision, his guidance, and allowing us and the trust in our team to move this project forward. And he's right, he fought for this thing and it's happening. So we're excited about it. I mean, we haven't gotten here before. So this is uncharted territory for us. And so we're really, really excited. And then lastly to you, right? The members of the commission who all have taken part in some shape or form in the development of this document, right? Through stakeholder interviews or individual meetings, pop-ups. You are an amazing body that's doing tremendous and have done tremendous work here in this city. And so definitely wanted to make sure that we said thank you to you. And want to thank the residents. The feedback, the participation, the comments that we got from them was phenomenal. And this was not required. We were not checking off any boxes when we started this process. We intentionally wanted to involve the members of the community. I think Mayor Butts says often that the only thing that's changed in Inglewood is everything except the people, right? And with that understanding, we wanted to move forward and be intentional about our outreach, our public engagement, which Jonathan is going to talk about a little bit later this evening. But we wanted to make sure that this document spoke and was written in the voice of the people who live it, right? As a planning staff, we can all day write policy, right, and write what we think this city should look like. But who better to provide that vision than the people who are going to be living in it and the children who we're going to be raising in it. And so without further ado, we'd like to begin our presentation. So what is a general plan? Well, let's find out.
As a member of the Inglewood community, you know firsthand that the city is in the midst of a major transformation. With so many recent changes and more on the horizon, Inglewood has an incredible opportunity to reimagine everyday life for residents, business owners, and visitors now into the future. To guide the community through this renaissance, the city of Inglewood is embarking on a comprehensive update to its general plan. The general plan is a policy document that guides decisions on how the city will physically grow and change over the next 25 years. The state has minimum requirements for what is included in the general plan, including 8 elements. Communities can also decide to include additional elements in the general plan to address local priorities like recreation, economic development, or historic preservation. The general plan touches nearly every part of life in Inglewood, including the location and availability of quality homes and jobs, access to community amenities like parks and public programs, how easy it is to move around the city, including on foot, public transit, and by car, neighborhood health and safety, and the well-being of all community members. The oldest chapter of Inglewood's current general plan dates back to 1987. Pieces of the plan have been updated at various times over the last few decades, but the city's plan has never undergone a comprehensive update. The update Inglewood is embarking on now is a rare opportunity to clarify and memorialize the community's priorities for the future and engage all city resources and activities in support of a shared vision. For the general plan update to be a success, the project team needs to hear from you and all members of the Inglewood community. Through September 2024, there will be various opportunities to get involved in the first phase of this project. The city will host a community workshop dedicated to understanding key issues and opportunities for the general plan to address. Later on, a second workshop will explore community values, concerns, and hopes for the future to support development of a community vision that will guide the rest of the plan's development. Throughout the project, the city will be engaging with the community at local events and online. For more details and information, visit the project webpage at www.nextlevelinglewood.com.
That video was created by Thomas Bunn and his team, and it's on our website. It will serve as a continued piece of education, right, for our community. You know, a lot of times we will go to a community meeting, and when we leave, we forget a lot of what we learned, right? But we wanted to make sure that we had something sustainable that people can go back to as we go through this process. This is a multi-year process, and so we want them to be able to understand that knowledge is power, and then they will be able to provide us with even better feedback as we move into the next phase of this. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up my staff to present the key findings from the existing conditions report. Oh, come up here, Faith. Oh.
Historic resources. Historic resources. The origins of the city of Inglewood started with the clash between two prominent California families, the Avilas and the Machados. Ultimately, the Avilas sold the land to Daniel Freeman, who named it Inglewood after his birthplace, and the city of Inglewood was officially incorporated on February 14, 1908. This section discusses the city of Inglewood through the 1880s and the 1970s, highlighting the commercial core of Inglewood's transformation into a business district with 3 retail businesses, areas in addition to downtown, North Inglewood, Morningside Park, and Crenshaw. During wartime, the city of Inglewood was the fastest growing city, doubling in population in just 2 years. But post-war, Inglewood's downtown commercial district began to diminish due to competition from outlying commercial areas. To bring back life to the core of the city, the Fabulous Forum was created, and $50 million was spent in local, county, and federal funds, creating a new civic center on a single superblock that combines the city hall, a courthouse, a library, fire and police facilities, a public health complex, and a major parking garage. This civic center brought upon new commercial development and residential projects, most notably the 200-unit Inglewood Meadows, but still, downtown business district continued to wane and has remained an underutilized asset. Dating today, the Hollywood Park racetrack closed, and in 2015, the Inglewood City Council approved a plan to build a 70,000-seat football stadium, the SoFi Stadium. In 2012, the Forum underwent renovation and reopened in 2014 and was listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The venue is tied to the identity of the City of Inglewood moniker, City of Champions, and the Forum is to host the gymnastics event for the 2028 Summer Olympics. More recently, a new sports and entertainment arena, the Intuit Dome, was constructed in 2024 and is one of the most technologically advanced arenas in the world, helping to bring the City of Inglewood to the next level.
So this section of the existing conditions report is the demographic and economic profile. As of 2023, Inglewood's population was counted at approximately 106,000 residents. Counting that from 2023, from 2010, there's only been a 1,000 resident decrease throughout this time. The ethnicities that make up the population have remained the same over the last 15 years, with the Black and Hispanic population making up 90% of the city. Educational attainment is measured by accounting for residents that have earned a bachelor's degree or higher, or a higher level of education. 25% of residents in the city hold a bachelor's degree or higher, when compared to LA County at 37%. Yearly earnings follow the same pattern, with the average household income being approximately $89,000 in Inglewood, when compared to LA County at $121,000. Inglewood is diverse in the jobs available, with the healthcare industry providing the highest number of jobs in the city. The industry that is projected to rise the most over the next 5 years is the arts, entertainment, and recreation industry. 31% of employees in Inglewood commute from Los Angeles, with 5% living and working in the city. The city also has a balanced source of generating revenue when compared to all California cities. Most cities rely primarily on sales and property taxes. In Inglewood, transportation, utility, and admissions taxes are other sources of generating high amounts of revenue that are on par with sales and property tax. Over the last 13 years, the city has seen an 100% increase in sales tax revenues generated, a sign that more people are enjoying the amenities the city has to offer.
The market analysis section examines the current stock of buildings and uses within the city, including residential, industrial, office, and hospitality. This section utilizes data including rents, vacancy rates, and the property type to compare Inglewood to its surrounding submarket and the overall county. This section also utilizes data to project where the largest demand for future growth within the city will occur. There is projected to be weak demand for uses including retail and office, while future projections show two large areas for growth within the city in multifamily residential and hospitality.
Built environment. The City of Inglewood land use section describes the city's existing land uses. Current general plan and zoning ordinances, land use designations, pending or approved development projects, and sites identified to meet the county's regional housing needs allocation by the city's adopted housing element. It also includes an overview of the city's land use planning context, including specific plans and other relevant planning documents, and a description of the city's significant places and urban form characteristics and implications. This information establishes a baseline of on-the-ground uses and existing policies to which potential changes in the land use plan can be compared. As an urbanized, built-out area, the city has few parcels remaining for development. Future development will need to be infill or replace existing uses. A number of major infill projects are underway and have a precedent for this type of development in the city, including Hollywood Park. The city's TOD plans guide infill development in strategic areas to maximize access to the region's expanding transit network. The City of Inglewood's urban form and design character speak to how people experience the community and their perception of the quality of life. Urban form plays a critical role in the creation of distinctive places and the establishment of a unique identity for the community and its neighborhood. Urban form not only relates to aesthetic character, but also impacts community vitality, stability, and function. Inglewood's development pattern is dominated by traditional and multiple family residential neighborhoods, commercial centers, industrial areas, a large sports and entertainment district, and dispersed open space and office, education, and medical campuses. Common desires from community members were the opportunities for enhancing, restoring, and the reinvigoration of Market Street and downtown Inglewood with greater commercial activity. Several corridors were identified by community members as being optimal for mixed-use development, including Imperial Highway, Century Boulevard, and Prairie Avenue.
Circulation. The city's circulation system is in place to allow for safe, efficient travel in and through the city. The system is in place via policies and plans written by city staff, such as the Downtown Transit-Oriented Development Plan, the Westchester Veterans TOD Plan, Crenshaw Imperial TOD Plan, Active Transportation and Safe Routes to School, and the Environmental Climate Action Plan. And it is in place via policies and plans written by outside agencies, such as the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, City of Inglewood First Last Mile Plan by LA Metro, and LA Metro Complete Streets Policy, to name a few. Currently, the circulation system is oriented to vehicles. 75% of Inglewood residents commute to work using an automobile, and that includes solo drivers and carpool. 5% commute by public transportation, 2% commute by walking, and less than 1% commute by bicycle. It's closer to 0%. But Inglewood is poised for a future that can support multiple modes of transportation, such as walking, bicycling, public transportation, and freight. The future holds a lot for the city of Inglewood. The general plan can prioritize the type of growth that that the community wants to see, and the type of growth that the city, state, and transportation agencies need to see. Key topics to consider are planning for mobility hubs. That includes micro-local spaces with a bus shelter, bike parking, drop-off spaces for ride sharing. These places help promote alternative options for driving. Promotion of transit, which would be an ongoing collaboration with the city and with LA Metro and other transit operators. New first last mile options. This will diversify the types of transportation used in the city, benefit pedestrians, and eventually make the city more walkable. Management of trips from special events such as park and go shuttles. The general plan update addresses these priorities and the way the city can adapt to current and future development using those key topics.
The infrastructure section examines Inglewood's water, sewer, storm drain, and water quality programs, an often overlooked aspect of the city, but this is an important thing as this is an important issue as the availability to provide water in emergencies is a very important issue during emergencies like the fires that we're just seeing. The city's water supply is supplied by 3 providers and sourced from imported surface water, local groundwater, and recycled water. This section also provides assessments of the city's infrastructure and ability to perform necessary functions, including providing adequate water, sewer, and drainage systems for the city during both daily use and emergencies. This report details deficiencies within the system as well as addresses these deficiencies through the city's water and sewer master plan. This section also examines the complex systems of catch basins, storm drains, that are utilized to prevent flooding within the city.
Public services and facilities. So this chapter discusses the city's services and facilities, which include topics like parks and recreation, libraries, and public safety. Our city offers its residents 10 public parks that are operated by the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department. We have almost 90 acres for its population of 102,865 residents. Traditionally, a goal, a desired method of measuring is 1 acre per 1,000 residents. So we're just shy. The city offers its residents 3 library facilities operated by the Parks and Rec Department as well. The libraries offer electronic media as well as online resources for digital literacy and job training. The city is primarily served by the Inglewood Unified School District. A small portion of the city in the southern part of the city is served by Lenox, the Lenox School District. There is a declining enrollment of so there were 10,959 students in the Inglewood Unified School District in the school year 2014 through 2015. To 6,958 in the 23-24 year. And it's projected in the next 6 years, enrollment will decline to 5,476 students. School year 2029 to 2030, between 2029 and 39. The city has its own police department and has a deficiency in staffing levels with for example, 29 sworn vacancies. It offers various programs throughout the year, such as National Night Out. For fire, the city contracts its fire services with the LA County Fire Department and has 4 fire stations. As the city continues to grow in population, there will be a need for expanded library services, programs, collections, and new or renovated facilities. Also, the decline of school-aged children, or the population of school-aged children in the city, is expected to be of significant decrease in the enrollment for the school districts. This creates an opportunity to reuse existing buildings and spaces for more project-based learning models without the need for new infrastructure. Future closures can bring the community together to decide what the best use of each facility and land is. Future population growth leads to a need for increased public safety, fire and police services that would need to be expanded. Growth could lead to a need for more fire facilities and apparatus. Attention should be paid to maintaining targeted response times and incorporated fees for new construction and subdivisions for plan check review could help fund these fire facilities and fire apparatuses that will be needed. Chapter 9, Natural Environment. So this chapter discusses the topics such as public health, noise, green space, water, air quality, energy use. Other topics that were covered were endangered species, flooding, earthquake-prone zones. We have multiple faults here in the city. However, luckily, we're not really prone to flooding due to the topography of the city. There are really no endangered species in the city as well. So it leads us, this chapter should lead us to a better focused approach to our natural environment. So as of 2015, the city had an average tree canopy of 14%. Increasing the tree canopy will help the city as it's not spared from future concerns of climate change. This could also lead to expanded tree canopies to aid in the fight against climate change, which is expected to affect the city in various ways. Air sequestration and cooling infrastructure can help the city combat future effects of climate change. We know that due to the growth of the city, due to our car dependency, there is a particular concern for air pollution. And with the city's population growing in age, as far as the amount of this particulate matter, basically, we can focus the attention to what they call sensitive receptors, which are people of young age, or might be people who suffer from ailments. So air quality and car dependency, because we are so close to the 105 freeway. The 405 freeway intersects the city. Again, the need for air quality mitigation. Moreover, expanding these areas include green infrastructure, such as public transit mitigation, stemming from our proximity to freeways. The city has existing mitigation measures, which is good, to address the various challenges associated with the natural environment. As you'll see later, feedback from the community will basically hit these points as well. Thank you.
Thank you, team. And so now, to discuss our community engagement and the feedback that we got through our different events that we attended. Mind you, we touched every council district through our outreach pop-ups and the like. I think we were active in every council district and got robust feedback from the community. And so today, to discuss that and the results that came from our community engagement, is our consultant from PlaceWorks, Mr. Jonathan Netler.
Next slide, please. All right. Good evening, commissioners. Nice to see you again, Commissioner Chair Springs. I've got the privilege and honor tonight of talking about what was really the heart and soul of this planning effort, and that is the public engagement process. What our team, what the city staff learned from that process, what we heard from the community, is embedded in the products that you have before you this evening. The existing conditions report, the community profile, and what you'll be hearing about in a few minutes, the draft vision statement and guiding principles. And I want to talk a little bit about what that process looked like, the different mechanisms and activities that the team engaged in to solicit feedback and involvement from the community, and also about what we heard during that process. And so I want to start by talking about those activities. And the impetus for the wide range of activities was to answer 4 basic questions. And the questions we are asking at these variety of activities were, what are the things that you really value about Inglewood today? What works in Inglewood and should be preserved? Question 1. Question 2, we want to hear about what is not working so well in Inglewood today. What could be improved? The third question was, what would you like to see more of in Inglewood, or what might not be here today that you would like to see in the city in the future? And then finally, we asked people to put their visioning caps on, to think aspirationally about the future. In 10 or 20 years, what could Inglewood be? What could it strive to be? What is Inglewood's next level? And what is your vision for the future? So we engaged in a number of different types of activities to try to both inform and get feedback on those questions from the community. The first was, or that you'll see listed here, is a series of pop-ups, which essentially means we went to the places where the community was already gathering at different types of citywide events to make them aware of the general plan update process, ask them questions, provide them an opportunity to provide feedback both there and in person, and via a survey that was conducted both online and using forms. We also hosted a community open house that was presented in both English and Spanish in September. And at the end of this process, we hosted another community workshop to get feedback on a set of draft vision statement and guiding principles. We also conducted a series of targeted stakeholder interviews with different groups of individuals, with members of the community like business owners, service providers, and yourselves. Next slide. Oh, and before we move on, I do want to mention that as Bernard hit on, this substantial outreach really generated some very thoughtful, considered responses, and more than 1,250 comments were received during this process. Next slide, please. So I want to touch on some of the common themes that we heard in those conversations. And this is by no means exhaustive of every comment that we heard, but these were some of the ones that resonated broadly, that we heard repeated by different people at different times. And I'm just going to mention some of these here. I won't list them all, but one thing that we heard about what people appreciate about the city are the new entertainment and sports venues, as well as increased property values, although they did mention concerns that come with those improvements to the city, and we'll talk about those in a second. We also heard that people appreciate the business environment here, particularly the environment for new and small businesses. And then I think most profoundly, we heard about people's pride in the community, their sense of community, how that relates to their neighborhoods, the places where they live and the people that they live next to. And also, as it relates to, in that community spirit that comes through when they're gathering at parks and at special events and programs hosted by the city. And I'll also mention here that we heard appreciation for the responsiveness of city staff. We did not make that up just to make Bernard look good. We actually heard that from multiple people. Next slide. Now, in the area of improvements, you may have heard a few of these. You may have said a few of these yourselves. I just want to hit on a few of these. We did hear some concerns, as I mentioned, with along with increases in values of property, also comes rising housing and living costs and concerns with or desire for improvement in terms of affordable housing options, stricter rent control, and measures to prevent displacement. We also heard, as I mentioned, the importance of small and local businesses and a desire for an improvement in how the city supports those businesses, both in terms of providing more flexible regulations, cutting red tape, providing more resources in terms of grants and training programs. We heard about the large event venues and the benefits that come from those. We also heard that people would like to see those benefits spread more broadly throughout the city. We also heard about a desire for improvements to visual blight and addressing things like vacant buildings and empty lots and beautifying those. Next slide, please. To the question of what would people like to see that's not here today, or what would they like to see more of, we did hear about a desire for more grocery stores, and particularly ones that are high-end and organic, things like Trader Joe's and Sprouts. We heard about a desire for improved dining and shopping experiences, including upscale restaurants. We heard about a desire for more support for economic development, things like more job opportunities, more business incubators and job training in the city. And we also heard about a desire for more services for residents of all ages, things like youth centers, more park space, affordable options for recreation and entertainment for families, and support for seniors. And we also heard about a desire for more housing choices, and that ran the gamut from, as I had mentioned before, affordable housing, but also including things like workforce housing, housing for seniors, housing for low-income families, housing for teachers and veterans, and more Section 8 housing. Next slide. And then finally, when it came to envisioning what Inglewood could be in the future, what that next level would be, we heard about a vision for an inclusive and thriving community that balances, both entertainment for visitors with local needs. We heard about a city that excels in economic development and supports small businesses through things like grants and incentives. We heard about a vision for a revitalized Market Street and downtown, historic downtown, I should say. We heard about a desire for more housing choices and a vision of more home ownership opportunities to foster generational wealth and prevent displacement. We also heard about a vision of a city that provides more amenities for tourists, but also ones that benefit people that live here today, things like hotels, outdoor dining, retail stores, and a wider variety of those. And then, as mentioned before, part of that vision was how do we transform the streets of Inglewood, major streets like Imperial and Century and Prairie, into areas with more, a greater mix of uses and vibrant local businesses that serve both residents and visitors. Next slide. So what came out of that process? We took all of those comments that we heard, those themes, and worked with the city and partners, and then ultimately with the community members themselves to develop a draft vision statement and draft guiding principles that express those ideas. Now, what is the importance of a vision statement to the general plan? Why do we start there? Well, the vision statement really is the foundation for the entire plan. It is the common ground from which all of the decisions on a planning basis are made, and it informs, through the guiding principles, the goals, policies, and actions of the general plan. The goals, policies, and actions then become that roadmap that demonstrates to the community, the elected leaders, to city staff, how to achieve that vision. And then really the vision statement is that foundation for the general plan house that we'll be building going forward. Next slide, please. So when we talk about a vision statement, we typically think of some key characteristics of what that should express. And when we're thinking about crafting a vision statement, it should be something that is identifies some common ground by which the stakeholders and community members of the city can agree. It should be fairly succinct, but it should also be aspirational and inspirational, and something that people can come back to over time, over the course of the general plan, and as their North Star that is guiding planning decisions that are made over the course of the general plan's implementation over the next 10 to 20 years. So the vision statement is an incredibly important part of this planning process. It's one of the primary results of this first phase, and it really is, along with the guiding principles, that foundation for the planning work that's going to happen going forward. And I'm going to let Bernard introduce the draft vision statement.
So if you would indulge me for a moment and close your eyes, I want you to really listen to this vision statement. The city of Inglewood, with our rich history and diverse culture, owes our return to success to our residents, small businesses, and economic partners. Community pride in the city's resurgent national brand as a premier place to live, work, prosper, and play is tangible and visible. Inglewood's vibrant residential neighborhoods and our diverse range of local services, accented by our state-of-the-art sports and entertainment venues, attract regional and international visitors throughout the year. Inglewood is an inclusive community where people walk, run, recreate, and actively participate in community events, both large and small. Inglewood is a city that cherishes the concept of being good neighbors. Inglewood's next level will be defined by our ability to provide residents and visitors with a variety of housing choices, both market rate and affordable, alongside desirable local shopping and services. The Inglewood's resurrection will continue to manifest itself in the abundant generation of well-paying jobs for residents and surrounding cities and improved access to health care. The next level will include quality schools, a continued emphasis on high-quality recreation and developmental services, well-maintained parks, and a safe, efficient transportation system to serve a community that will accommodate 4.5 to 5 million visitors annually. The next level of Inglewood is not just a vision, it's a continued manifestation resulting from the combination of incarnate strategy, planning, and implementation processes, both broad and intricate, that have resulted in the current Inglewood's reality. The reality has birthed a thriving local economy where big and small businesses, for the most part, blend seamlessly with both local residents and visitors from all over the globe. Inglewood's next level will be defined by our commitment to development practices grounded in environmental sustainability, small business, economic incubation, and the promotion of high levels of public safety, with a continued recognition of a need to promote social equity. We will leave no resident behind as we embrace our self-imposed mandate of social and economic determination. The city of Inglewood will continue to be a municipal leader, setting an example for other cities to follow. That's our North Star. At the end of this general plan cycle, 25, 30 years, that's when we look back at the text, that's what we expect Inglewood to look like. That's the next level for the city of Inglewood.
All right, thanks, Bernard. I'm going to also share and just provide a quick overview of the guiding principles that accompany that vision statement. And really, the purpose of the guiding principles is to elaborate on the vision and to address those themes that the guiding principles are organized around 7 major topics. They are community character, growth and development, community facilities and services, responsive governance and communication, economy, mobility, and environment. And they generally align those categories with the organization of the general plan. Got it. All right, let's start with community character. Some of the major themes expressed in these principles, and I'm not going to read them out as written, but just highlight some of the concepts that are touched upon, are that the character of the community continues to embrace the city's history, art, education, and diversity of cultures. The concept of integrating new buildings in a way that transitions them seamlessly into the existing environment. The principle of developing attractive streetscapes and plazas, continuing to emphasize public safety, and maintaining attractive public spaces and environments, beautifying the community. The next series of principles are around the topic of growth and development, and they address the themes of focusing growth and development within existing centers and as infill, and along commercial corridors, reestablishing the historic downtown, developing adjacent to transit nodes and modes, enhancing and improving those commercial centers and corridors, and protecting and expanding housing opportunities. Next slide. So again, these are meant to, hopefully you're hearing some repeats of topics we've talked about before, because these are meant to convey those themes that we heard from the community. On the topic of community facilities and services, the principles address providing for services and programs for residents of all ages and ability, and providing recreational and park amenities, and supporting community arts, culture, and events. On the topic of responsive governance and communication, the principles address providing information to residents and enabling them to engage in providing feedback on city-initiated policies and programs, and leading the city in its coordination efforts with both within the city family and with other jurisdictions. On the economy, the principles address sustaining existing and attracting new businesses, providing opportunities and resources for new and small businesses, pursuing new business opportunities, and providing opportunities for jobs and job training and career training to residents. The principles address the fiscal health of the city and also how the city can leverage major investment and redevelopment projects. Next slide, thank you. Mobility, the principles address a multimodal system, meaning many different providing the opportunity for many different methods of people to circulate in the city, get around the city. Adaptability to meet future needs and technologies. Connectivity with land uses so that the circulation system and the city's major land uses are integrated. Serving the city's parking needs. And then making sure that the environment around schools enables children and families to be able to walk to and from schools safely. And then lastly, the last topic is related to the environment, and the principles address achieving high levels of sustainability, making sure that air and water are of the highest quality, that natural resources are conserved, and that noise impacts are mitigated. It also addresses adaptation, resilience to climate change, and making sure that people and places are protected from hazards.
So what's next? Thank you for indulging us. I know it was a lot of information that we provided you with tonight. So the next step is that we move into the actual work that goes into starting to update each element of our general plan. We're currently in a process right now. We've completed the RFP process to select the consultant that's going to pick up continue the work that's being done, that's already been done. And we will also be presenting this information as a receive and file to the city council as well. And so then there will be another opportunity for the general public, if they were unable to comment today, to be able to provide some feedback and comments at the council level as well. It'll be a similar presentation. And so then we'll move into the next phase of this, which as a commission, you'll be actively involved in. There will be a number of opportunities for the community to continue their engagement, to continue to push forward some of the ideas that they've presented. And we weren't able to encapsulate all 1,200 comments. So I'm sorry if you were watching and you didn't see your comment up there. We tried to get most of it, but we really wanted to share the common threads that we heard consistently throughout this process. And that's what guided the drafting of the vision statement and the guiding principles that followed it. And so then we would use those to move, continue to move forward as we develop the next phase of this thing. And so we're excited to move forward. The final product is generally will take 2 years. We're anticipating that this will be a 2-year project. There's going to be a programmatic EIR that's going to be a part of this, that this body would also be adopting, as well as city council upon the adoption of the elements of the general plan. So you will be you'll be intimately involved in this process and have plenty of opportunity to comment, provide feedback, and allow your influence and decision-making to guide the future development of our city moving forward. And with that, that would conclude staff's presentation, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bernard. I'm sure there's a lot of questions from our commissioners. I know I have a few. So I'm going to open it up for questions for what we've read. Actually, we have the packet that was given to us, so we did go over, at least I'm sure we did. I know Commissioner Trejo did, because I see her notes. So we're going to open up for questions for you, Mr. Bernard, and for you, Mr. Jackson, and our consultant as well. We're going to open up questions So please stay at the lectern so we can ask the various questions. So we're going to start our questions with Commissioner Fowler. If you have any questions, and direct your questions to an individual.
I have no questions at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Rice?
Two general questions, and anyone can fill them who wants to fill them. I think I heard someone say we were shy 29 sworn officers. I thought it was 100 and some odd at some point. Have we hired that many officers here?
So, what our consultant was tasked to do is to go in and to try and collect as much data as possible. And there's a moment in time that this data has to be harvested. And so at that particular time, there were 29 sworn positions that were open or available. And I'm not sure what the number was of officers that we actually had, but it was 29 non-sworn or sworn. It was sworn that were available to be filled. And as you know, if you have driven in the city, and I know you have, our billboards, our wild billboards are lit up with advertising for police. And that's an active effort to try and get more candidates to come in. I'm proud to say that we have at least one candidate come out of our code enforcement that is looking to matriculate up into the police force. So we're actually having some homegrown opportunity there. And I'm not sure, Jonathan, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add just on more context for that. I can just say in terms of the source of that information, we did ask for feedback from the police department. So this information came directly from them, their reporting at that time, that they filled out a survey we provided to them.
Okay, and I think either Sean or Brian spoke about the vacancy factors, residential vacancy factors. Does anyone know what that number actually is in the city of Inglewood?
The number of current vacancies.
Rental vacancy.
Yeah, I'm not I don't have that number off the top of my head, but and I can't recall if that's covered in the report, but
It's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
and we can find
Here
that
comes
information.
John, if he could add any context.
That number was 5.3%.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very low.
All right.
What was the
No
number?
further questions.
Thank you.
5.3%.
Thanks.
Commissioner Trejo, you have any questions?
Well, I have comments. As far as the student enrollment, that was quite a shock to hear how that has dropped and it will be continuing to drop. Is there, gosh, I don't even know how to phrase this, but that tells me a couple of things, that our population is getting older and we somehow are not attracting younger families. And that's a concern because we've got a document here that's for 25, 30 years. And I don't know if there's how we attract younger families by providing everything that we've mentioned here, the housing and the recreation and the facilities and all of that, because wow, that is mind-boggling. That's one comment that I have, and that really came from just hearing whoever made that presentation as far as the education. Well done, staff. That's one thing. And then on your guiding principles, I had a couple of comments under mobility where it says promote system adaptability to changing modes and technologies, electric cars and autonomous vehicles. Now, do you anticipate any new federal policies that we probably will have affecting what we want to use as a guiding principle and how you're going to adapt to that? That's one of the things I had because I foresee that coming.
Well, 25 years from now, we'll be flying from across the city, not driving. So, yes, I think, these guiding principles, and again, from a visionary standpoint, right? This allows us the opportunity to really be creative and be imaginative, right? You know, I remember being a little kid watching the Jetsons,
Oh, I watched it too.
right? And thinking like, wow, they're, you know, I mean, they're flying all over the place, right? But you know, the way that technology is evolving and our transportation system is changing so rapidly that we're really probably not that far away. And so being able to think in that from that perspective, to address the future mobility needs. I mean, I'm at home watching a Waymo drive through down the street, right? I was leaving City Hall today and I saw another Waymo driving down, you know, Inglewood Avenue. And so, you know, it's becoming, you know, that's the next level, right? And so we have to think about how we can adapt to what's already here.
That I agree with. I think I was referring more to what may be coming down from the new
Well,
administration that is so anti electric cars and is encouraging gasoline,
Yeah.
the same type of car that we have now.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, in feeling, because I don't really know if that's going to happen, but in feeling that something could happen, maybe in the next 4 years, maybe in the next 8 years, at the direction we're going, will that in any way affect what we're looking at now?
Well,
I don't think so.
I think it behooves the city to set their own course for the future. What does Englewood want to encourage in terms of a transportation environment? And so the general plan can set that overall framework. The guiding principle can point towards the policy direction, the policies that we want to develop that's going to support that framework. And I would say, you know, what that principle points to is having flexibility within the circulation environment, knowing that we're not going to be able to predict what different types of methods and modes may appear over the next 10 or 15 years. But providing, you know, what is the nature of circulation in the city? What are the kind of most important factors? That it's safe, that it's efficient, effective. You know, those are the types of things that we'll want to be addressing in developing the policies of the general plan, rather than being specifically determinative, maybe of, you know, people should travel by this or that, you know, technology. And so it's that overall kind of framework that really will be the focus moving forward, establishing that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would also just add on piggybacking off of what Bernard spoke to, and what Jonathan spoke to, is the one thing that I think we all agree with, is that California has always been cutting edge. California has set, as we talked about, the North Star for addressing climate action, addressing what we consider to be global issues. And it's one of the things, obviously, that puts us at odds with the current administration a policy. And I do not anticipate, based upon the leadership that we have here in the great state of California, that because the Fed changes some direction, that we're not, as a state, going to continue to go down. We're not going to, we never have really responded to where federal policy, we set the stage for what federal policy has become. The NEPA, CEQA set the stage for environmental quality, and then that reverberated to other states. So I think as we look at where we're going to be as California, we are going to be at the front of that no matter who's at the helm of our federal government. I think we're going to continue to do that and evolve, which is one of the reasons why California has been so successful. So just want to add that in.
Okay. Thank you, because I see that coming. And then just one final thing on and maybe I'm misreading, but I'm looking at one of the guiding principles under economy that says expand and prioritize opportunities to sustain existing and attract new business that primarily serve the local community. I have sort of an issue with that because I think I would recommend that it would say attract new businesses that not only serve the local community, but attracts and serves visitors to the city as well. I mean, that is already in some of the other documents or pages or principles that you've mentioned, but this one just kind of like stood out that to me, it just sounded like, okay, let's just concentrate on who lives here. I mean, the new entertainment venues are a part of the city now. And it is because they are a part of the city, they attract visitors. I mean, that's a given. We're going to have visitors. And anyway, that's my recommendation that there be a little finessing of the wording there.
Yeah, we can play around with it, and you know, again, these were derived out of common themes that were heard throughout this process, and so and one of the common threads was the city's support for the mom and pop businesses that really drive and have driven this community and kind of sustained us until we were able to bring SoFi into it here. And so the as we move into the next level, and I think when we read the vision statement, when we talked about not leaving anyone behind, there's a sentiment in our community that we found is that people felt like they would be left behind. And so we wanted to make sure that we were intentional and that we let people know that we heard them, right? And so yes, we absolutely want, and I'm sure that the business owners that are coming into the community want to attract people from other areas, right? But we also want to make sure that the businesses are also available to serve the people who live here, right? And so whether it's a fine dining establishment that wants to come into our community that our residents can use, or it's a retail store that's been here for many years that's continuing to thrive because of the relationships that they've built with the community. We want to make sure that we're able to prioritize that through some of our goals and policy.
Tweak it though.
Okay. Commissioner Shaw Williams?
It's more of well, I have a question regarding Fox Theater because we're talking about the revitalization of downtown Inglewood. I've noticed some activity there. Is something going on with the Fox Theater?
Yeah, that's me. I actually talked to Black Equities owns the Fox Theater, which is Zach Zaidman and his crew, and they are now going through dealing with some of the asbestos, like paint. They're cleaning it out. We're going to be meeting probably early next week to talk about the next level for that particular location. They've indicated that they want to make it into a performance theater. They want to augment with some properties that the city owns to provide for some dining experience. And then they still have control over some of the vacant lots. So we want to talk about some stuff going on down there. So I anticipate that they want to prioritize the Fox Theater. The issue with the Fox, obviously, is it's on the National Registry for Historic Places. And as a result of that, the Department of Interior, I believe, has to comment on whatever occurs. So we're being very, but before they could get to that point, they had to clean it up. It was just in real bad situation. So he was confident that it's now the point that we could actually take inventory. And the word he used today was, it's gonna be beautiful. And I love that.
Beautiful.
So I love that, Zach. I love that word, beautiful.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Well, you know, with downtown Inglewood or any location that has a downtown, you have to have something that anchors it. In other words, something that draws people in. You know, for example, I went to Issa Rae's restaurant, and I said, man, that would have been so great if she had came downtown Inglewood. But then I remember what Chris said about already having an existing building that has a kitchen, that has all the things necessary due to cost factors. But is there something that you guys really can't discuss that's more like an anchor that's going to be coming to downtown Inglewood?
Let's just say we are working on some really grand opportunities in our downtown. And as one of the things that has slowed that down was just getting the residential projects there. We have the DeMilo now, we have Astra now, and so now the retailers are looking at it differently because you have an increase foot traffic that's occurring that's kind of organic because of the residential projects. So yes, we are looking at some. I think you'll be very pleased over the next 2 to 3 years. And I hate to put it out there because everybody wants it yesterday, but
Yeah.
it does take some time, and there is some investment. And actually, that question you just talked about, or that comment regarding the infrastructure, is one of the things that economy question was kind of built on, because the cost associated with the retrofitting lends itself to entities that would serve more of the sports and entertainment center than it does the local population because of the cost. So you have to be intentional about assisting in that. We just working on now some grant funding disbursements. We'll be at council to bring on a consultant firm that's going to help disperse about 8.5 million dollars to assist both external, because usually there's an emphasis on facade, but we're going now allowing for those funds to be used internally, so you can get the hoods and the kitchen areas put in that are very expensive to undertake, and that property owners are usually a little slow at moving on that, and that local businesses that come in, and we've seen this, they'll spend all their money on doing that and then not even open because it just is so costly. So we're hoping that we'll be able to have some really cool anchors in the downtown area that are unique to Inglewood. So, yeah.
Great presentation. Thank you. No further comments or questions.
Okay, I have a couple of questions and some comments. I really want to piggyback on Commissioner Trejo when she indicated about, well, the presentation that was given about the schools and how they're declining. And then we talked about, I want to bring in schools and residents. What happens on people coming into the community, younger people, because she indicated that it doesn't appear that younger people are coming in, and that's based upon affordability. And to bring younger people in, we're looking at a school system. We're looking at schools. So I'm kind of confused on how we be able to bring them in when you need a school system to keep them in. So can you kind of help me on this one?
I can't speak for the school district, unfortunately, but what I think we have, and we did survey the school district in terms of their current status, their strategic planning. I think what is indicated in the existing conditions report is that they are, as you're aware, resizing their infrastructure and their facilities. I think with the idea that they'll also be making investments in upgrading the infrastructure that remains, the schools that remain. So, again, I don't want to speak for them, but I would think and hope that the result of that will be that, that they're able to focus their resources on a number of facilities that is going to overall improve the learning experience, improve the environment, provide a more attractive system once you have established that foundation, rebalanced it, that will ultimately engender more confidence among the community, people outside the community in wanting to, partake in the public school system here.
Okay. Now,
And I'm sorry, I just wanted to add that what we're presenting today too is a snapshot of where we are,
mhm.
right? And I think that's with the thought that we're going to be able to work collaboratively with the school district, right, and other agencies to provide a path forward to create and establish policies to help us get to where we want to be,
Mhm.
right? So the question is, well, how do we attract families? Well, that's something that we need to talk about, and that has to be a driving question that helps us to develop some policy that moves us in that direction, right? So we can't know where we're gonna go if we don't know where we are and where we've been.
Okay.
And I think that's where this document has become so critical to us moving forward to the next level.
And I'm going to add one more thing in because we see that under action right now. As you know, we're going through a upgrade of our library. And as part of that, one of the things that the mayor has done along with the council is to work with the school district about connectivity, right? Instead of separating entities, we have a big street called Manchester that separates Inglewood High School from our library to create connections that make it easier to collaborate. So you can imagine one of the things that's been discussed is a sky bridge that connects Inglewood High School with our library. And now you can begin to do some programmatic things that does not necessarily strain the school district because the city has these resources. And as you know, the school district and the city are two separate entities. So you do have to have some collaboration to be able to share between. And in the past, we've had, speaking of existing, we've had conflict there. And now the new level of leadership is saying, we got to work together. Because what we want to do is no matter where that number ends up in terms of the number of students, that those are the best students, right? And the way you do that, you don't focus necessarily on getting the numbers up, you focus on getting the quality up, right? And that's what makes it attractive. And then ultimately people choose to put because you have choices, right? Your kids don't have to go where you live. Before it was normal. Folks here in Inglewood went to Inglewood schools, and we've heard that over and over again when you look at the history. But as time has come along, we've had charter schools, we have private schools, we have all these choices that parents have, and then as income have risen, opportunities have, subsidies have. And so we have to make ourselves attractive like we've done across the landscape of Inglewood with our entertainment district and some of the changes we've done internally with the city. And then once that happens, people don't want to have to spend more money to go drive further away. They'd rather have their kids here, but they're not going to risk the future of their kids from an educational standpoint if the school district is not going to provide that. So just wanted to throw that 2 cents in.
Thank you, sir. Okay, you went around and you got information from stakeholders. My question would be, in short, are you going to put this show on the road? In other words, are you going to go to the town hall meetings in the first district, second district, and give them this information that you're giving us? That's my suggestion. And it can be it doesn't have to be long, it could be short and just hit the key points because people want to know what's going on in the city and they want to know the future of the city. So I think it's a good idea to put it on the road. And I think I asked the last question. I'm going to open it up. You have any other questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Fowler, you have any questions?
No, just I really appreciated the in-depth presentation. A lot to take in. I tried to read a lot, but I think it's it's an excellent opportunity. I'm so glad that this is happening. The entire city should be excited about it because as it evolves, I think more and more of the residents and the business owners will see the value. And I hope they recognize that we definitely did take in the city's input, which is critically important. And you'll have more opportunities to do that, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to certainly all of District 1 commenting. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Rice?
I think Chris had spoken on enhancing the package, and that was not just a extra grant. I'm talking about the grant program for Market Street. It was being enhanced to not at just enhance the exteriors, but to include the interiors now.
Yeah, the grant funding doesn't limit itself to just exterior, because I think part of that procurement of that 8.5 million was understanding that, you know, painting the outside doesn't necessarily drive the business. So many business owners, things like the interior, this is each person would get up to $250,000 towards the renovation. Now, we certainly do want exterior change. We want to make sure it's clean, but you can imagine how big that is if for a refrigerating unit, for a hood, for those types of things that normally in a facade improvement program would not be available.
Unless it's a second generation kitchen, it's just, that much can be spent in one kitchen by itself.
That's correct. That's correct. And for things to pencil for that small business, those are deciding factors over whether or not they move forward or not. Sometimes it's just those little things that determine whether they actually have a competitive edge or not. So,
Bernard, you were speaking, and I don't think you got an opportunity to finish your statement. I think you were saying something was going to start tomorrow.
Oh, no, we have an internal kickoff meeting for the Destination Market Street program tomorrow. So we're going to be rolling it out really, really soon.
Thank
So-
you. No further questions. I need to hear that.
And while I have the mic, shameless plug, please, the existing conditions report, the community profile, the vision statement, and guiding principles are all available on our website, www.nextlevelinglewood.com. You can also view the general plan video that we showed at the beginning of our presentation. So you can sign up for our email list, also complete a survey, to then again continue to allow your voice to be heard as we move through this process. We will also on that website post flyers for upcoming community meetings and things of that nature. And Chairman, we hear you, and we will attend some. We'll take our show on the road. You must have liked it if you're asking for an encore. So, you know.
I'm going to go to her now, come back to me. Commissioner Trail?
Well, as a 50-year resident, I bought my house in Inglewood 50 years ago, almost in July of this year. It'll be 50 years. Longtime resident. I was a baby, still am. And I've seen a whole lot of changes in Inglewood. I've been on the commission since 2006, so have seen a lot of changes. And it's really, really exciting. And, you know, reading this, I looked at it and I thought, oh my God. But it was actually fun reading. And one of the items that I really got a big kick out of was our historic resource, Randy's Donut. I love Randy's Donut. And I was, as some of you know, because I sent a picture, I was in a high-end shopping mall just north of Mexico City over the holidays, and Randy's Donuts is going to be in that high-end mall. And I thought, wow, look how far Inglewood has come. So that was, I bragged to all my family over there and said, hey, that's Randy's. And same logo, same color, everything. So anyway, I have a big, big love for the city of Inglewood. And I'm excited to see this. Thank you.
Randy's Donuts is in Manhattan Beach. They're in Torrance.
Las Vegas. It started.
Not
Yes,
the OG,
yes, they
not
did.
the OG.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Inglewood is doing it big. I tell you, I was at the airport in Las Vegas coming back and at a Southwest counter. So you know you got to show your ID. So I showed the lady my ID, of course, and she just went bonkers. Oh my God, you're from Inglewood? I'm from Inglewood. And she was probably, I would say, maybe late 60s. And she said, I was born in Centinela Hospital. I lived on Hardy. I just love Inglewood. And I wanted to say, then why are you living in Las Vegas? So I left it alone. But no, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation, everybody. It was excellent.
I love the presentation. I really did. And the reason I said I want you to put it on the road is because, you know, a lot of people come up to you and they ask, what's going on in the city? What can you tell me what's happening? And I say, well, if you come to the city council meetings, they're televised. They'll tell you a lot of. No, I don't want. I don't want to know that. I want to know are there going to be any stores or could I open up a business? You know, so that was the reason I asked. Could we put this show on the road? Those questions can be asked and answered. The first district is probably one of the largest districts in. You mentioned about education and financial in a particular district, and I think the first district has your economical base is a little higher than any of the other districts. So the first district, because I'm in the first district, is a district that I think will enjoy this more so. And the reason I say that, Mr. Jackson, you indicated about a restaurant. You're trying to keep it a secret, but that's okay. You can keep it a secret until it comes out. Eventually it will. But they want to know about eateries. They want to know about things like health foods stores, Trader Joe's, things like that. That's what they're interested in. The older group lives in the first district. They don't want to travel. You mentioned about transportation. So they want to be able to, I know there's an access that is in Inglewood that can take you from one location to the next if you're a senior, but we want to be able to get to one location to the next quietly, not drive the car. We want to be able to get there. We want to be able to go to Intuit Dome to watch a Clipper game. We want to be able to go to the Forum for a concert. We want to be able to go to SoFi to watch a football game or the Battle of the Bands that were there recently. So the city, even though it's large, it's small. It's small itself, and they want to be able to find out what's going on. I want you to get that website again, Mr. Bernard, so we'll know what that website is, because I want to be able to put that information out, and we want to be able to produce that website on a regular at our city council meetings. I need you to say that website again so everybody knows what that website is, because they can go on that website and get all the information that they need, and they'll be able to answer and get questions on that website. So if you can get that website again.
So the website for our general plan update is www.nextlevelinglewood, all one word, .com. www.nextlevelinglewood.com.
Now, on that website, what information is given on that website, Mr.?
So on that website, you'll be able to find the existing conditions report that was presented tonight, a graphically rich version, more condensed version of the existing conditions report, which is called a community profile. And then you can find the vision statement and guiding principles. You also can find on that website the video that we showed that explains exactly what a general plan is and why it's important, as a form of educating the public as to what we're doing and why we need to. There's an email sign-up list there where you can put your information in and receive any email updates that we provide, which we'll be doing regularly moving forward. And we also provide the dates that we will present this plan to the existing conditions report to City Council for for them to receive and file as well.
You know, there's a Inglewood magazine, Inglewood publication that goes out, I think every quarter, every 3 weeks. It's a magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Is this, can that go in that Parks and Recs? puts it
Yeah,
out?
absolutely. Well, we don't say no. We're gonna find a way. Now, there also is. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've driven or as you drive through the city, there's the next level moniker has been on the WOW billboards as well, and so we're really working to reach. We're working with Thomas Bunn and his team to broadcasting on social media. And so we're really just trying to meet people where they are. And so, we will be taking our show on the road, presenting the existing conditions report, but then also going to meet people where they are to get their comments and feedback as we move into the next phase of this. So next level, Inglewood has taken on more than just a tagline for the general plan. It's really become how we in the development services department are operating, how we're operating citywide. It's something that we're taking a lot of pride in. The mayor has really taken the moniker and is grabbed the bull by the horn, for lack of a better word, and is moving this thing forward for not just the residents, but even us here in the city as employees. So it's
Thank you very much.
truly next level.
Thank you. I want to thank your staff as well for your presentation. Very good. You guys did a good job. If I can clap, can I clap? Can we? Oh, yes. Is there a motion that we have to do on this one? Okay, very
No.
good. Thank you, sir. You guys did a phenomenal job. That's your word, Mr. Bernard. Okay, we're going to move right along. I think our next here is the initiatives. Yes. We did our public comments. So we're going to go with commissioners' initiatives. We're going to start with Commissioner Fowler. If you can give us your initiative.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Gray has made a staffing change. We bid farewell to Alicia Smith, who's been with us for 11 years, and we welcome Angela Mays as her new administrative assistant. Ms. Mays brings over 3 decades of invaluable experience, access in the area of entertainment, finance, and logistics. So if you need to reach the council member, Angela Mays, she's looking forward to hearing from you. We are also holding a paper shed day on February 15th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the ICOP Center. We always seem to, even though a lot of people think that they're not frequent enough, we do, but there's always a line around the street, around the corner. So get rid of those items that are piling up. It's spring cleaning early, I think you can call it. Also, we're asking everyone in District 1 to join in with the rest of the city in the Black History Celebration, the Family Festival, which is Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Councilmember Gray's walk-in office hours are the fourth Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. At the ICOP Center, so you can catch her there. And we're also asking you just to keep the families in Altadena, Pasadena, Palisades in your prayers and continue to donate. We don't want them to just think it was a one-time shot deal. Anything you can do, please work with your community, your churches, et cetera, to help sustain them. So thank you.
Commissioner Rice?
I think the mayor has a quote. What was it? The only thing that's changed in Inglewood is everything except the people. And I'm going to put a quotation for the planning department on the back of my shirt. We don't say no. We find a way. You're going to see that a lot. We find a way with all of this, and I really appreciate this grant program for Market Street. It's going to be everything that we needed to get this street going. Thank you so much. Florence Avenue, eastbound from La Cienega, there's a left turn at Ivy. Signal doesn't work, light doesn't work, left turn, nothing for months. But people are turning into that lane and they're trying to get out because it doesn't turn green. Okay, but that's it.
Yeah,
Everyone enjoy.
we'll transmit that over to our traffic, Public Works Department, Traffic Division.
Commissioner Trail?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if any of you, are any of you aware of what may be happening at the vacant gas station on the northeast corner of Century and Inglewood Avenue? It's been vacant for about 6 months. It's still fenced, so I know I had mentioned that some time ago, and they fenced it. It's still fenced. I saw it knocked down, but it's like they immediately repaired it. And but I was just curious if there's been any plans for that corner.
Yeah, we'll circulate and talk to staff. Nothing that comes to the top of the mind right now. They may be doing some remediation on the site to clean it up. Typically, gas stations have to go through that before there's any potential development going on there. There are a number of EV charging stations that have been popping up, and we have a few others that are going to be coming online with some of the properties that have been fenced off. So we'll look for that particular one, and we'll get you some communication on what we have tomorrow.
Great, and also the property next door to it that I had reported before, the tire shop, completely cleaned it up. I mean, they moved out.
Yeah.
Looks like they've now painted the building.
Yeah.
So that's another one, if you know what may be happening there.
Yeah, and kudos to our code enforcement division. They worked very hard on that to make sure. And that, once I think the operator understood that we weren't going to be permissive to allow them to do it, just made sense for them to go somewhere where they could do that. So, yes, hopefully it opens up an opportunity. We'll give you an update on that as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Shaw Williams?
Yes, thank you for the birthday card, everyone. Very touching, made my evening. Thank you so much. And what is the new place called? The charging station, I forget the name of it. We went to their grand opening.
Yeah.
Is it Terra something? Terawatt. Why do they have a sheet, like a long sheet around the fencing area? It's almost like a covering around the fencing area.
Yeah, not sure about that. We'll take a look. I know
It
Waymo
looks
uses
bad.
that particular location. I think Waymo uses that location, but we'll query them and find out and come up with another alternative for screening. Probably for screening right now, but we'll make sure that they upgrade so that it's not a visual nuisance.
Yes, thank you. That's all, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just have a couple of things. Number one, I want to say happy birthday, belated birthday to Commissioner Rice. I think yours was on the 8th of January? 4th. Oh, the 4th. And I want to say happy birthday to Commissioner Shaw Williams. Hers was on the 20th. And I want to thank everyone for my card. I'm going to frame this card and put it on my fireplace. I love it. I'm reading some of the things that are on here. You guys really thought about it. You said something really nice to me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I want to comment on the Commissioners Academy. We spoke about that briefly, but we never came to a final conclusion on the commissioners attending it. I put it on my calendar. I just want to know, should I erase it or keep it there?
Keep it penciled. We're processing the paperwork now, and so we're just waiting on the final approval. And once we get that, hopefully within the next week or two, then we'll be able to. You can plan accordingly, but
yeah. And with that being said, one of the things that you might want to consider is to identify an alternative meeting, because that that certainly came up by Commissioner Fowler. And you could identify a special meeting date now, and we could, in case that meeting is not held, we would be able to move forward with a special meeting.
So you want us to put a meeting together now? Is that what you said?
You could
Is this something that we
potentially
need to make?
do a motion that would say, in the event that the 5th meeting is not held, then we'll have a special meeting the following week, or the 12th, yeah.
Okay, so, all right, I'm doing my initiatives, and you want me to have them put a motion
You
in?
don't have to, but it's just one of the casualty of that is that then we would have to call the special meeting ourselves. If you already have it established, if needed.
Okay, I'm gonna ask my commissioners, is there a motion on the floor? Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'd like to make a motion that in the event that the May 5th, 2025 meeting is canceled, that it's moved to May 12th, 2025.
March.
Good, I was testing you. You passed.
Testing you guys.
March 12th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, it's properly moved in second. We're gonna call for any questions on that motion? Everybody understand the motion?
Mhm.
Hearing none, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Fowler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rice.
Aye.
Commissioner Trejo,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw Williams.
Aye.
Chairman Springs.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think that's it for me. I don't have anything else. I just want to applaud Next Level Inglewood. I think you guys, I think it's great. I'm so excited. I haven't lived in Inglewood for 50 years because I'm only 49.
Oh, okay. Oh, my
But I've lived here a while, and I can see the change in the city. When I first moved here, there was a bus going down Fifth Avenue, and it stopped at the Fifth Avenue Theater. And then it circled back around. It went down Market Street to the theaters, and then they had a theater on Imperial. We don't have that theater on Imperial. We don't have the theater on Manchester either. But the city has grown, and it's grown because of the hard work that the planning commissions, the planning department has put into it, and the work that you guys have done, and our leadership that we have in our mayor and our city council. So I'm really proud of the city. I'm like Commissioner Shaw Williams when I go somewhere and they ask me, because I have a sweatshirt that says Inglewood on it. And people, where did you get that sweatshirt from? You know, they want to know where I got the sweatshirt from. So I'm so proud to be a resident, and I'm so proud and happy to be chairing the Planning Commission. So thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And that's it.